Science, animals, and buildings were all themes in the games we played for this week's Quickfire. Hello, I'm Stacy and this is Killer Bits. Today I'm giving you a ranked list of the board games I've recently played. In 5th, Rocketville. In theory, Rocketville should be a game I love. Players are battling over votes in the attempt to become mayor of Rocketville. However, the execution of getting the votes was not fun. Players essentially each choose a card from their hand and play it. The highest number wins the district. This mechanic is fine, but it did feel like most of the time we're just playing the campaign planning card. This is a card which allows you to draw another campaign promise card, those cards with the numbers on them. If there had been another way to get those promise cards instead of having to play the planning card instead of a number, I think the game would have been much more interesting. But as it stands, it was definitely my least favorite game of the recent past. Coming in 4th, Fauna. This is another game that on its surface I really thought I would enjoy. In Fauna, players have to guess at facts about animals, usually ones you've never heard of. You gain points for being correct or adjacent to the correct answer about where it is indigenous to, its length, its weight, and its tail length. A lot of times this was just a crapshoot, and trying to use any logic stemming from its Latin name or its appearance was usually a giant fail. I enjoyed this only slightly more than Rocketville because the animals were usually pretty cute. In 3rd place, The New Science. You give me a game called The New Science and I'm instantly intrigued. I love the idea of rewriting the history of science and going through the process of researching, experimenting, and publishing knowledge. And this game was fun, but there were a couple of mechanics that just felt broken. First of all, auto-failing experiments when you rolled a 1 added too much of an element of randomness to the game. We had one player who rolled a 1 for about 6 turns in a row. Yes, this was a very unlucky streak for him, but it essentially took him out of contention for having a shot at winning the game. And second, you only really get points for publishing, but once you publish, other players get to jump on your research and skip over technologies. I feel like this was a broken mechanic. I think there should have been some handicap, like they had to at least spend time researching each technology before they could jump up to the next one. That said, I would play it again. 2nd place goes to Kingsburg. This is a simple game that uses dice rolls instead of meeples for worker placement. Each turn, players roll 3 dice and can then place the dice on a square that matches their die roll. They can place 1, 2, or 3 dice, and the highest and best resources were the ones that required dice rolls of 15 or higher. There were ways to fudge the dice rolls a bit, but generally bad dice rolls stink. The point of all this dice rolling was to collect resources that could then be used to purchase buildings, which gave victory points and other rewards like an increase in military. The game has 5 rounds, and each round has 4 seasons, with dice rolling and resource collecting happening 3 of the 4 seasons. In the 4th season, players have to fight a big baddie. So that's where having military really matters. This game was very solid, and while dice rolling added some randomness into it, even really bad dice rolling could be overcome with the right strategies. And the number 1 game of the week is Alhambra or New York. I'm combining this into one because it's essentially the same game rebranded, and I've played both quite a bit recently. Alhambra is a fantastic city building game. Players buy buildings using money which comes in 4 varieties, well, colors. Each building costs the amount on the building and the color money for the bank it happens to be randomly placed on. There are 3 scoring rounds, 2 of which happen somewhat randomly. The 3rd happens when buildings cannot be refreshed. This game is so much fun and is by far my favorite game that I've gotten to play recently. If you haven't played Alhambra or New York, be sure to get that remedied ASAP. Thank you for watching. Please click like if you haven't already and subscribe if you are enjoying what you see. Feel free to leave comments or questions and I'll see you next time for Killer Bits.